So where are you?
Yeah, I'm in MDC Brooklyn, in a little side room.
This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. Something that I'll never forget.
Imagine two men who once ruled their own empires, now sharing stories, meals, and chess games behind the cold, cinder block walls of a Brooklyn detention center. It sounds like the premise for a dark comedy, but this is the real-life situation of Sam Bankman-Fried, the fallen crypto king, and R. Kelly, the infamous musician turned controversial inmate. The two are now bunking in the same high-security unit at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a facility notorious for its grim conditions and high-profile residents. How did these industry titans end up in such a bleak place? And what could they possibly have in common? Buckle up, because this story is stranger than fiction.
But no one wants to be in prison, and you can imagine what happens when you take sort of 40 people, all of whom have been at least charged with crimes, and lock them in a single room for years on end and throw out the key, which is the most trivial things become all that people have left to care about.
Sam Bankman-Fried, once celebrated as the boy genius of the cryptocurrency world, is now far from that. Just a few years ago, he was a billionaire prodigy, the founder of FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that promised to revolutionize finance. But his empire crumbled in a spectacular downfall, plagued by allegations of fraud, mismanagement, and blatant deception. Prosecutors painted him as the mastermind behind one of the largest financial schemes in modern history, accusing him of stealing billions from unsuspecting investors to fund his hedge fund, Alameda Research. The collapse of FTX sent shockwaves through the financial world, leaving thousands of people desperately trying to recover their lost investments. By November 2023, Bankman-Fried was convicted on multiple charges of fraud and money laundering, resulting in a 25-year federal prison sentence, far from the lavish future he once envisioned.
I've had a lot of time to reflect on how to communicate, and in retrospect, I think I was not effective at communicating, especially when the crisis first hit. And, in the months thereafter, I made a mistake I often make. I get swept up in details and forget to communicate the bigger picture.
On the other hand, seeing Diddy Combs was a household name long before Sam Bankman-Fried even entered the public eye. A music producer, rapper, and entrepreneur, Combs built an empire on hit records, fashion lines, and lucrative endorsements. He was the epitome of success, a man who turned everything he touched into gold. But behind the glitz and glamour, a much darker story was unfolding. Combs is now facing allegations that are as shocking as they are serious. Prosecutors have accused him of orchestrating a years-long pattern of exploitation, involving vulnerable individuals, elaborate schemes, and a network of enablers. The charges against him range from unethical behavior to outright criminal acts, and the emerging details have left the public stunned. While Combs has strongly denied the accusations, his future remains uncertain, with a trial set for May that could determine his fate.
Just incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent until proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we can debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent until proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent until proven.
The Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn is no ordinary jail. This fortress-like structure towers over the Brooklyn waterfront, housing a mix of pre-trial detainees and convicted criminals. Over the years, it has gained a reputation for its harsh conditions, frequent lockdowns, and chronic staff shortages. Inmates describe it as a dark, grimy place where even the most basic necessities are hard to come by. Yet, despite its grim nature, MDC Brooklyn has become a gathering place for some of the most high-profile names in the criminal justice system. From R. Kelly to Ghislaine Maxwell, the facility has hosted its fair share of infamous residents. Now it adds Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy comms to its roster.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Despite their vastly different backgrounds, Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy comms have reportedly formed an unexpected bond. Bankman-Fried, known for his awkward demeanor and disheveled appearance, has described Combs as kind and generous during their time together in the shared unit. In a recent jailhouse interview, he told Tucker Carlson that Combs has been nothing but respectful to him and the other inmates, even offering words of encouragement during tough moments. "He's been kind to me," Bankman-Fried said, reflecting on their shared predicament. "It's a position no one wants to be in, obviously. He doesn't want to be here. I don't either. It's kind of a soul-crushing place." The two men spend much of their time in the unit's common area, which has a few tables, a television, and a chessboard. And yes, chess has become a major pastime for Bankman-Fried. Known for his sharp analytical mind, he has been honing his skills by playing against some of the most unexpected opponents, former gang members and alleged criminals who, as it turns out, are surprisingly skilled at the game. "I lose games to them all the time," he admitted. "I wasn't expecting that." While Combs isn't much of a chess player himself, he's often seen observing the matches, offering commentary, and occasionally cracking jokes to lighten the mood.
Of course, some of them are, I think are thinking like, wow, this is sort of a big opportunity, to meet people they wouldn't otherwise get to meet, which is, it shocked me the first time I heard that. Right, it makes sense from their perspective, but boy, is that not how I think about prison.
Their conversations go beyond just chess and prison small talk. Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy comms have reportedly discussed a wide range of topics, from politics to business strategies, drawing on their shared experiences in high-stakes industries. Bankman-Fried has even opened up about his regrets, sharing with Combs the choices that led to his downfall. Meanwhile, Combs has offered glimpses into his own struggles, reflecting on the pressures of fame and the mistakes he's made along the way. It's a surreal dynamic, two men who once commanded immense power and influence, now reduced to introspection and camaraderie in one of the most unlikely of settings.
It's just interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend.
Despite their unlikely bond, tensions do exist between Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy comms. While Bankman-Fried has described Combs as kind, there are whispers among other inmates that the music mogul's larger-than-life persona hasn't fully disappeared. Some say he still carries himself with the air of a man who expects deference, even behind bars. Others have noted his occasional outbursts, particularly when things don't go his way. It's a stark contrast to the polished image he once projected, but perhaps it's to be expected in a place like MDC Brooklyn. Meanwhile, the prison itself serves as a grim reminder of the harsh realities these two men now face. MDC Brooklyn has long been criticized for its inhumane conditions, with inmates reporting everything from overcrowding to unsanitary living spaces. Frequent lockdowns leave detainees confined to their cells for hours, sometimes days at a time. For Bankman-Fried and Combs, this means limited access to the outside world, minimal opportunities for exercise, and virtually no privacy. It's a far cry from the luxurious lifestyles they once enjoyed, and it's clear that the adjustment has been anything but easy.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happened.
Whether it's through shared meals or late-night conversations about their respective cases. Despite their differences, they seem to have found common ground in their shared struggle to adapt to life behind bars. As their legal battles continue to unfold, the friendship between Bankman-Fried and Combs offers a fascinating glimpse into the human side of their stories. It's a reminder that even in the most dire circumstances, connections can be made and lessons can be learned. But make no mistake, the road ahead is filled with uncertainty. Both men face the prospect of years, if not decades, behind bars, and the outcomes of their cases could have far-reaching consequences for their legacies.
Every jail is bad. Some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail.
So what does the future hold for Sam Bankman-Fried and Seam Diddy Combs? Will their unlikely friendships survive the trials and tribulations ahead? Or will the pressures of prison life ultimately drive them apart? As the next chapter of their stories unfolds, one thing is certain: this is far from over. The harsh realities of prison life have already taken their toll on Bankman-Fried and Combs, but the challenges they face are just beginning. While their unlikely camaraderie offers fleeting moments of normalcy, the truth is that both men are caught in legal battles that could define the rest of their lives. And let's not sugarcoat it. This isn't just about proving their innocence. It's about survival in a system that doesn't care how big your name was on the outside. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where they're both being held, has been described by former inmates as one of the most difficult places to endure. For Sam, who spent his adult life navigating the fast-paced, tech-driven world of cryptocurrency, and for Diddy, a man accustomed to private jets and red carpets, the adjustment has been brutal. But beyond the grim conditions, the real battle lies in the courtroom.
What we see are just the people that are around us on the inside, rather than who we are on the outside.
Sam's legal team had been working tirelessly to prepare his appeal. Convicted of orchestrating what prosecutors called one of the biggest financial frauds in history, Sam was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and his future seemed bleak. Yet he hadn't given up hope. Much of his time in prison had been spent poring over legal documents, strategizing with his lawyers, and searching for any way to salvage what was left of his reputation. During his interview with Tucker Carlson, Sam even hinted that he believed the collapse of FTX could have been avoided if he had been given more time to stabilize the company. The company should have been solvent, he argued. There was enough to pay everyone back, in theory. But the courtroom drama surrounding Sam wasn't just about his business failures. His political contributions had also come under intense scrutiny, adding another layer of complexity to his case. Once a major donor to the Democratic Party, Sam shifted his political allegiances in the months leading up to his trial, allegedly giving equal amounts to Republicans behind the scenes. This revelation sparked a storm of speculation. Was his political maneuvering an attempt to curry favor with lawmakers? And if so, why hadn't it worked? Even Tucker Carlson seemed intrigued, pressing Sam on whether he had tried to call in any favors. Sam denied it, but the situation left many wondering. Was his downfall purely financial, or were there other forces at play?
public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Meanwhile, Diddy's legal troubles were just as dramatic. Accused of a range of serious offenses, the music mogul faced a slew of allegations that painted a troubling picture of his life behind closed doors. The charges against him were staggering, and the details that had emerged so far were enough to make even his most loyal fans question everything they thought they knew about him. But Diddy wasn't going down without a fight. His legal team was working tirelessly to secure his release on bail, arguing that the conditions at MDC Brooklyn were unsuitable for someone of his status. They pointed to the facility's history of violence, overcrowding, and even maggot-infested food as evidence that Diddy deserved to await his trial from the comfort of his Miami mansion. However, the judge wasn't swayed, and bail was denied. Diddy remained behind bars, much to the dismay of his family and supporters.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
The stakes were incredibly high for both men, but their approaches to their legal battles couldn't have been more different. Sam's strategy seemed rooted in logic and data, as if he could somehow spreadsheet his way out of prison. He had even begun working on a sort of manifesto, detailing what went wrong with FTX and how he planned to make amends. Diddy, on the other hand, was leaning heavily on his charisma and public image, trying to frame himself as a victim of a witch hunt. His lawyers painted him as a misunderstood genius whose creative vision had been twisted into something sinister by opportunistic accusers. While their legal teams worked on crafting these narratives, Sam and Diddy continued to navigate the daily struggles of prison life. The Metropolitan Detention Center was infamous for its harsh conditions, and even the high-profile nature of its inmates offered little protection from the harsh realities of incarceration. The facility was overcrowded, understaffed, and plagued by frequent lockdowns that kept detainees confined to their cells for hours or even days at a time. For Sam, this meant limited access to the materials he needed to prepare for his appeal. For Diddy, it meant being cut off from the outside world, unable to manage his businesses or communicate freely with his legal team.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendant, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take up the trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial.
Perhaps the most striking aspect of Sam Bankman-Fried and seeing Diddy Calm's time at MDC Brooklyn was how it forced them to confront their own humanity. Stripped of their wealth, status, and power, both men were reduced to just two more inmates trying to make it through the day. While they could rely on their fame to earn some respect from their fellow detainees, it was clear that the prison environment didn't care about their past accomplishments. In a place where survival often hinges on alliances and adaptability, both Sam and Diddy had to quickly adjust to their new reality. For Sam, this meant leaning into his intellectual strengths. His daily chess games with fellow inmates became a ritual, offering him a rare sense of normalcy in an otherwise chaotic environment. Though he often lost to opponents with far less formal education, the games provided a welcome distraction from the pressures of his legal battles. Diddy, on the other hand, took on something of a leadership role within the unit. Known for his larger-than-life personality, he earned the respect of his fellow detainees through a mix of charm and resourcefulness. Whether it was organizing impromptu music sessions or offering advice to younger inmates, Diddy found ways to maintain a sense of purpose despite his circumstances. But despite their efforts to adapt, both men were still grappling with the psychological toll of incarceration. For Sam, the endless hours of confinement often led him to replay the events of the past few years, wondering how things had gone so wrong. He couldn't help but dwell on the choices that had brought him to this point, often wondering if there had been a single moment, just one decision, that could have changed the course of his fate. Fellow inmates noticed him pacing in the limited space of the common area, muttering calculations under his breath, as if solving equations could somehow offer him the answers he sought.
So, like, have you made friends there? Are you hanging with Diddy? I think he's in there with you.
He is. And I don't know. He's been kind. I've made some friends. It's a weird environment. It's sort of a combination of a few other high-profile cases, and then a lot of
Diddy, on the other hand, was grappling with the pressures of maintaining his image, even behind bars. Though his charisma and influence had earned him a certain level of respect among the other inmates, there were moments when the cracks started to show. Rumors circulated that he had clashed with another high-profile detainee over control of the television in the common area. A petty dispute, but one that underscored the fragile balance of power within the prison walls. While Diddy had always been a master at controlling the narrative on the outside, the lack of control in his current environment was clearly taking a toll on him. Adding to the tension was the constant presence of the media spotlight, which neither man could escape, even within the confines of the detention center. Every detail of their lives in prison, from their meals to their interactions with fellow inmates, became fodder for gossip and speculation. For Sam, this meant facing relentless scrutiny over every move, with critics eager to interpret his actions as a reflection of his guilt or innocence. For Diddy, it was a double-edged sword. While he relished the attention as a reminder of his status, it also meant that every misstep could be magnified 1,000-fold. The pressure was palpable, serving as a constant reminder that even in their shared isolation, the world was still watching.
Not buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also too mean emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly.
But the question remained, could either man truly come back from this? For Sam, the challenge was as much about rebuilding his reputation as it was about staying out of prison. His fall from grace had left a significant void in the cryptocurrency world, and many wondered if he could ever regain the trust of investors. Diddy, on the other hand, faced a different kind of reckoning. Even if he managed to clear his name, the allegations against him had already tarnished his legacy in ways that might never fully be undone. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the world watched with bated breath to see what would happen next. Would Sam's appeal succeed, allowing him to walk free and rebuild his empire? Or would he spend the next 2 decades behind bars, becoming a cautionary tale for anyone who dared to dream too big? And what about Diddy? Could he convince a jury of his innocence? Or would the weight of the allegations prove too much to overcome?
Sides in the Sean Diddy Combs case have until today to give answers for how the music mogul has been communicating from jail. Combs appearing in court last Friday seeking bail while he awaits trial. He's been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since September.
One thing was certain, the road ahead for both men was filled with uncertainty. Their trials would undoubtedly be 2 of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory, with implications that reached far beyond the walls of MDC Brooklyn. As they prepared to face their respective fates, Sam and Diddy could only hope that the bonds they had formed in prison would provide some comfort amid an uncertain future. So, what do you think? Can either of these men truly find redemption, or are they doomed to be defined by their mistakes? And more importantly, what does their story reveal about the nature of power, success, and the price we pay for ambition? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga. Until next time.